Rajab does not arrive loudly. It doesn't come with the urgency of Ramadan or the excitement of Eid. It comes quietly, thinking, almost unnoticed, and that in itself is the lesson, is Allah's gentle alarm, not meant to shock you awake. Thinking, but to stir your heart just enough to remind you that something important is approaching. It is a mercy before the responsibility, a pause before the race begins. Allah, in His kindness, thinking does not throw us straight into Ramadan unprepared. He gives us Rajab as a soft awakening. Chance to look at ourselves honestly without pressure, without fear, without the weight of expectations. This month teaches us that real change is not sudden. Thinking, it doesn't happen because the calendar flips or because everyone else is fasting. A transformation begins when the heart starts listening again. Rajab asks you to slow down and reflect. Where am I with Allah right now? Not where I pretend to be in Ramadan, not where I want people to think I am, but where I truly stand when life is quiet and no one is watching. That reflection is worship. That awareness is preparation. Allah knows our weakness. He knows that if Ramadan came suddenly, thinking, many hearts would be overwhelmed, many souls would give up before they even begin. So He sends Rajab as a warning wrapped in mercy, a reminder without pressure, an invitation without force. It whispers to the believer, wake up gently, return slowly, fix what you can before the doors open wide. Even a small turn toward Allah in Rajab carries immense weight because it shows willingness, and Allah loves willingness. Thinking, Rajab also teaches us that preparation itself is beloved to Allah. The intention to change, the decision to improve, the effort to reconnect before obligation arrives. These are acts of worship often overlooked. When you begin to repair your Salah, soften your heart, or restrain a habit in Rajab, thinking you are answering Allah before being called loudly. You are choosing Him before being compelled. Thinking. So don't underestimate this quiet month. Rajab is not insignificant, it is intentional. It is Allah giving you time, space, and mercy to wake up before Ramadan arrives. And the one who wakes up gently in Rajab enters Ramadan ready to transform. Rajab also brings a question that many of us avoid, a question that only appears when things are quiet and no one is watching, before the masjids fill, before fasting becomes routine, before worship becomes visible. Allah gives us this month to look at our private relationship with Him, thinking, because it's easy to feel close to Allah when everyone around you is praying, fasting, and speaking about Deen, thinking. But what about when there is no atmosphere pushing you forward? What about when the alarms are silent, the nights are long, thinking, and the days pass like any other day? Rajab strips away the crowd. There is no pressure to perform, thinking, no excitement carrying you along. And in that silence, sincerity is exposed. This month quietly asks, thinking, do you turn to Allah when nothing is forcing you to? Do you remember Him when there is no reward except His pleasure? Because that is where true faith lies, in the moments unseen by people and unnoticed by the world. Rajab is such a powerful training ground. It prepares the soul to worship Allah for who He is, not for how worship looks. When you pray in Rajab, it's not because everyone else is praying. When you open the Quran, thinking, it's not because Ramadan guilt pushed you to it. It's because you chose Allah over distraction, even when no one would ever know. And that choice purifies intention in a way no public act ever can. Allah is not impressed by what we display. He responds to what is sincere. A single quiet dua in Rajab, whispered with honesty, can outweigh loud worship done for habit. A private effort to leave a sin King, known only to you and Allah, can become the foundation of a transformed Ramadan. Thinking, Rajab teaches you to fix what is hidden before focusing on what is seen. If the heart learns to worship Allah in private now, Ramadan becomes different. Fasting gains depth. Prayer gains presence. The Quran speaks louder because the connection was already there before the schedule arrived. Thinking, Rajab is the month that trains you to meet Allah alone, so that when Ramadan comes, you are not just performing worship, you are living it. And when you learn to choose Allah in the unseen moments, He chooses you in ways you could never imagine. Thinking, one of the greatest misunderstandings we carry is thinking that preparation for Ramadan means adding more actions, more goals, more checklists. Rajab quietly corrects that mindset. Before asking you to do more thinking, this month asks you to release what is weighing your heart down. Because a heart that is heavy cannot fully receive barakah, no matter how many deeds surround it. Rajab teaches us that sometimes the most powerful preparation is not filling our days with worship, but clearing the heart so worship can finally take root. Many of us enter Ramadan exhausted, not because of lack of time, but because of what we are carrying inside. Old grudges, unresolved anger, jealousy, addictions, habits we excuse, sins we've normalized. These things block the light of Ramadan before it even arrives. Rajab gives us space to confront them gently, without pressure, without shame. It reminds us that Allah is not waiting for perfection, He is waiting for honesty. This month invites you to sit with yourself and ask uncomfortable questions. Who do I need to forgive? What habit has quietly distanced me from Allah? What sin do I keep justifying because it's hidden? Rajab is not about self-condemnation, it is about self-awareness. And awareness, when paired with sincerity, thinking, becomes repentance. When you start letting go of what pollutes the heart, you make room for what purifies it. A clean heart responds differently in Ramadan. The Quran feels lighter. Dua flows more naturally. Patience increases. And worship stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like relief. Thinking, that transformation doesn't come from overloading the body with rituals while the heart remains neglected. Thinking, it comes from removing what blocks connection so that even simple deeds carry weight. Thinking, Allah looks at the heart before He looks at the action. If the heart is softened in Rajab, even small deeds in Ramadan become massive in impact. And if the heart remains hardened, even long nights and empty stomachs may pass without leaving a mark. Thinking, Rajab is mercy because it gives us time to clean what only we and Allah can see. So don't rush to fill your hands while your heart is still full of burdens. Empty it first, thinking, because the heart that is cleared in Rajab is the heart that will truly receive Ramadan. Thinking, one of the quiet warnings hidden inside Rajab is this: regret usually doesn't come from not doing everything. Thinking, it comes from not doing anything when you had the chance. Many people enter Ramadan hoping the month itself will change them, as if the calendar alone carries transformation. Thinking, but Rajab reminds us that Ramadan amplifies what already exists. If there is effort before it, Ramadan multiplies it. If there is neglect before it, Ramadan simply exposes it. Thinking, this is why small changes now matter more than grand intentions later. King, you don't need to overhaul your entire life in Rajab. You just need to begin. Repairing one neglected prayer, reducing one habit that drains your Iman, opening the Quran even briefly. King, controlling the tongue a little more than before. These quiet steps become protection. Thinking, they shield you from the pain of realizing halfway through Ramadan. Thinking, that your heart is still chasing the same distractions. Many people feel that sadness near the end of Ramadan, the feeling that it passed too quickly, that something was missing. Often, that emptiness wasn't created in Ramadan, into it. Rajab is Allah's mercy because it gives you time to adjust before the month of intensity arrives. It allows you to stumble, correct yourself, and build consistency without the pressure of perfection. Allah loves consistency even when it is small. A deed done quietly in Rajab with sincerity can outweigh a rushed action done later out of guilt. When you start now, you don't enter Ramadan trying to fix everything at once. You enter with momentum. Your soul recognizes worship again. Your heart feels familiar with obedience. And Ramadan becomes growth instead of struggle, thinking. Rajab teaches us that preparation protects us from disappointment. Those who prepare slowly enter Ramadan peacefully. Those who wait often spend the month fighting themselves. The goal is not to be perfect by Ramadan, but to be present, to arrive with a heart already turned toward Allah, not one trying to catch up, thinking. So don't underestimate the power of beginning now, because the small step you take in Rajab may be the very reason you leave Ramadan changed. Rajab also carries a reminder that is quiet, but deeply serious. It reminds us that time is moving, whether we are ready or not. Another year has passed, and we are once again being offered the possibility of Ramadan. Thinking, Rajab gently asks a question that settles heavily on the heart. Will we actually reach it? This month is a mercy, but it is also a warning. Not everyone who saw last Ramadan saw the next one, thinking. And not everyone who intends to change later is given the time to do so. This awareness is not meant to create fear, but urgency. There is a difference. Fear can paralyze, but urgency moves the heart toward action, thinking. Rajab teaches us to act while the door is still open, while repentance is still easy, thinking. While turning back to Allah does not feel rushed. It reminds us that delay is one of the greatest traps of Shaitan. Later feels safe, but later is never guaranteed. When Rajab arrives, it is as if Allah is saying, you still have time, thinking, but not much. Time to mend what is broken, time to return what was abandoned, time to soften what has hardened. This month invites us to take our Akhirah seriously without drowning in anxiety. Because Allah's mercy is vast, thinking, but so is our responsibility to respond to it. Every Rajab is also a reminder of mortality, of graves that were filled since the last one, of voices that once planned for Ramadan but never reached it. Thinking, this is not meant to darken the heart, but to awaken it. A heart that remembers death lives with purpose. It stops postponing repentance. It stops assuming unlimited tomorrows. It starts choosing Allah now. The believer who understands Rajab does not wait for a perfect moment to return. They return with imperfections, with weaknesses, with sincerity. Because Allah does not ask for certainty of tomorrow. He asks for effort today. Rajab is proof that Allah is still giving you a chance, still calling you back, still opening the door, thinking. So don't ignore this month, because the greatest loss is not missing Ramadan. It is being given time and choosing not to return. Rajab is also the moment where direction is decided, thinking, even before the journey truly begins. Long before Ramadan arrives with its structure and intensity, Allah gives us this space to ask ourselves a simple but life-shaping question. What do I actually want from this coming Ramadan? Not vague hopes, not emotional wishes, but a clear intention that guides every step forward. Because intention is not just a thought in the heart, thinking. It is the compass that determines where your effort will lead. Many people enter Ramadan without direction, thinking they fast because everyone fasts. They pray because everyone prays. And when the month ends, life slowly returns to exactly how it was before. Rajab prevents that cycle. Thinking, it teaches you to pause and decide what kind of Ramadan you are walking toward. Is this the Ramadan where you finally repair your Salah? The Ramadan where the Quran becomes a companion? Thinking, not a decoration. The Ramadan where you leave behind a habit that has held you back for years. Thinking, direction now determines whether Ramadan becomes a turning point or just another memory. When intention is clear, actions naturally follow. You begin to shape your days differently. You guard your time more carefully. Thinking, you become selective about what you allow into your heart. And even when you fall short, your direction pulls you back. Thinking, Allah loves this clarity because it reflects sincerity. It shows that you are not just chasing reward, but seeking closeness. Rajab also reminds us that intention without movement is incomplete. Thinking, setting direction means beginning to walk, even slowly. A person who intends to pray better starts fixing one prayer. A person who intends to reconnect with the Quran opens it, even briefly. These early steps align the heart with the path Allah loves. So when Ramadan arrives, you are not starting from zero. This is how real change happens. Not through sudden bursts of motivation, thinking, but through the direction anchored in intention and supported by action. Rajab gives you the gift of choosing who you want to be before the pressure arrives. It allows you to enter Ramadan already facing Allah, not turning toward Him at the last moment. So decide now, thinking, because the Ramadan that changes your life is the one you prepare for long before it begins.